Woo! The power has been with you all along. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Trey Michael, and this is another segment of Applied Consciousness. Now, I know right now you might see this little shadow over my face. It is bright out here today. Listen, you guys, the topic that I wanted to talk about today was about change. Yeah, that's the number 555, baby. I want to talk about how change may seem strange to you and how sometimes we even call that positive change negative. On this segment, I'm going to explain why you may have just leveled up, but you may be perceiving it as if bad is happening to you right now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive deep into this segment. Change is strange. Now, you have different types of change. You have what I call modification change, which means you keep the same base and you just add or subtract something from where you've always stood. That change doesn't seem as strange because as you're experiencing this new variable of taking away or adding to, you still have the other 90% of what you're familiar with. So you'll stay accustomed to that 90%, and then when you feel comfortable enough, you'll go and experience that 10% that you're not familiar with. But when you have a radical change, like a spiritual awakening, the reason you're going through what you perceive as a dark night of the soul, it's because you have jumped from one pace to a totally different place that you have never experienced before. And that new place can seem strange to you. A lot of times, us on this spiritual awakening journey perceive that change as something bad. And we're saying it's bad only because it's an experience that we have never felt before. We begin to see things that we have never saw before. And sometimes that shift of consciousness or that shift of your reality can be perceived as something negative. But I'm here to say this to you today. No seed that's planted in the soil of good nature comes out bad. No different than a bad seed comes out good. So if you are one of the people that have done the deep diving within yourself, and whether you're on the beginning phase of your awakening or whether you're in the middle of your awakening stages, when you level up, you are not going to know which way to go. You're not going to be familiar whatsoever because this is new territory. This is a new land that you're living in, and this is a new level of consciousness that you are perceiving. So I wanted to stop for a moment and I wanted to give some examples of people and things that have a freedom experience that they consider bad. I want to give you an example of a caged animal. See, if the animal was born in captivity, which means its diet was handed to its captors, its activities were limited to the parameter or the matrix that the captors had placed it in, if without its knowledge, an outside source freed it from its captivity and from its captors and opened up the gates for the animals to go out into nature, those animals by the end of the day would find refuge back in captivity. See, I'm going to give an example of the people of Israel according to the Bible. They told you that Moses went in to free the people from slavery. Now keep in mind, this was slavery, you guys. I'm not talking about a spiritual awakening. I'm talking about a physical bondage to the Egyptians. And as they wandered through the wilderness, they were free. They were free to wake when they chose, to sleep when they wanted, and eat as they chose. But because of that shift or that change seems so strange for an individual that was born in captivity, lots of those freed people wanted to go back into captivity because they were familiar with the boundaries of that matrix. And no different than the wild animal, it will take time for that animal or human to become acclimated to the new environment. See, that same experience goes for you and I. It's the same thing that we could be experiencing now. You could be looking at your life today and saying, universe, I've done all of the deep diving, but I don't feel secure. See, but that security is based upon the perception of something that you're normally used to experiencing. But when you level up, the universe wipes away the degree of knowing from where you stood, and it takes you into a place that's better. The fruits are greater, the grass is greener, and you have more opportunity. But you have to trust the process, like I am having to trust that process, and realize that I have leveled up. So if I feel strange where I'm at, it's kind of a good thing. That means that I've done the work to go to a new level that I am not familiar with. And now all I have to do is just let go. And when you tend to let go, on my experience, I feel that things begin to go into the ebb flow. You know, the emotion without putting thought to it. You know, the living in the now. And when you experience that, it's almost as if you become connected to the universe on a higher level of awareness. And then you become comfortable in that space. And the universe conspires to introduce you to the wonderful, magnificent experience that you have achieved from leveling up. So what I wanted to say to you guys today is, take some time out to meditate. Meditate to ask yourself, have I been putting in the work? And if I have been placing in that work, why do I feel strange right now? And when you do that, I assure you, you're going to realize that you have just went into another level of consciousness, that you've graduated that grade. See, it's kind of like school, you guys. When you master the 5th grade with all A's, you go home for summer break, you come back to the 6th grade, things are going to be different. They're going to teach you a higher level of science, math. You're going to begin to read bigger books with more input into every aspect of what you do. Now that change could feel unfamiliar to you, and it can feel a little, I wish I could go back to the 5th grade because I can ace that one. But each level you go to, you have to go to a place that your brain has to catch up. If not, then you're not learning. See, if I only learn the same thing over and over again, then I would become efficient and a master of that one thing. But come on, you guys. Life is infinite, and you are an infinite being. So accept the challenge. Live for the process. Stay in the ebb flow. And when you do that, you'll realize that what you're considering a bad situation or the dark night of the soul is actually something that is a blessing to you. It's your leveling up time. Hey everybody, like we always say, live, love, and laugh, and namaste, 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 peace. Listen, you guys, you have to let go and follow the process. And know that the universe conspires for those that choose to level up. Hey, peace.